Ecamm 4.4 is here, and there's a cool new feature that I personally love that I wanted to share with you today, and that is pan, tilt, zoom. This is going to save your butt. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so what does this all mean? Well, pan, tilt, zoom just refers to the camera's capabilities, right? So you have a camera like an Insta360 Link, or you've got an OBSBot, or any other camera, a Sony Visca compatible camera, for instance. Those will become cameras that you can now manipulate directly inside of Ecamm. Now, why is this a big deal? Because you don't have to leave Ecamm to control these cameras. It used to be you'd have to go to the camera software or some web-based interface to manipulate the camera, recall presets, that kind of stuff. That's all gone. It's gone. You can do it inside of Ecamm directly now, and it's way easier. It's way more efficient. And you know, when you're a solo producer like I am, friction is everything, right? All right, so I'm going to drop into Ecamm 4.4, and we're going to take a look at some of these features. And, you know, the thing that I want to really preface this with is that there's a lot to pan, tilt, zoom than is just pan, tilt, zoom. And you'll bear with me. You got to stick around to the end, because not only am I going to show you how to do it locally, I'm going to show you how to do it remotely. And for all you remote producers, this is cool. Okay, we're going to start by going into the one camera that I have in my studio here that's actually pan, tilt, zoom. And I have a little Insta360 Link. This is the original version, so it's a couple of years old now at this point. Still very useful, and it's great for panning around and showing people my studio when I'm in the middle of a live. So let me show you how to do that. I'm going to jump into that scene real quick, and you can see here, you notice I'm going to drop into live demo mode here. So I'll press that button, and you should see Ecamm now, and you see here's my window. You'll notice now there's this Insta360 Link little controller here. Well, where'd that come from? It came from this little button right inside the camera switcher. So let me get rid of it. I'll turn it off, and you'll see it right here. Okay, if this, it's underneath the three dots inside that camera's name. Now, Ecamm will do its best to identify PTZ compatible cameras and then give you that icon. If for some reason it doesn't, reach out to the support. They'll likely figure out what's going on. So if you click that button, you'll see now I've got my controller up here, and let's take a look at some of the features here. We got zoom, we got this little dot here, which is basically it's a virtual joystick, and then your presets, and then you've got the speed at which you're going to zoom in. So, for instance, if I wanted to pan to the backdrop behind me, I could do that, and we're going to go up and over, and excuse the graininess, but it's kind of dark in here. And I'll zoom out. So now, of course, that's my motto, and that's evidenced by my current weight. Ain't nothing a po' boy can't fix, but the po' boy's a sandwich for those of you who are not familiar with the term. So I've got this here. So let's say I want to recall this. Right? So you just create a preset. So you go into preset 1 and you change it to preset 2 and you say save. And that's it. So now if I go preset 1, which is where we were just looking, and click recall, boom, it goes back to preset 1. If I go to preset 2, recall, boom, it jumps, and it is fast. It's, I mean, I think it's an Insta360 thing, hence the name, but not only does it allow you to jump to a location, this is the part, honestly, let me put myself back on screen here. This is the part that I really enjoy about having these presets, because the preset doesn't need to necessarily get you exactly where you want to go. It gets you to a region or an area, and then you can use the controls of the joystick to fine tune. For instance, so let's go back to the Insta360 here. And I'm going to go to preset 2, recall that. And let's say that I wanted to encompass that on-air sign that's right beneath it. Well, I can zoom out and then go right, use those controls. So this is incredibly useful for in terms of when you are using your your cameras to get you to a spot in a room and then be able to quickly navigate from that spot. It's kind of like a jump off point. So this is really cool, but let's say we wanted to create a third preset that's just that on air sign. So I can zoom in. And this is another cool thing is that I can, by jumping to that area, I can quickly get over to on air. And now let's go ahead and you notice I can tap these little arrows and it makes little granular controls. But like anything else, if you send too many too quickly, it's not a function of Ecamm per se. It's probably more of the camera just going, whoa, 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 slow your roll. So I'm going to save this as preset 3. So now I've got preset 1, recall, preset 2, recall, and preset 3, recall. Look at that. You see how quickly I jump through things? I mean, this is kind of sick. You know, it's just, you can jump through this stuff and it just doesn't, it really, once you've got it set up, it's so quick. It's so quick. Okay, so this is one way to do it. However, let me take it out of live demo mode here and we'll go back to moi. There is one more way to do this, and this is with a placeholder that also encompasses a preset. So again, not having to use third-party software, a web interface, another application reduces friction, but Ecamm reduces it even further and adds to the viscosity, as it were, by allowing you to set up placeholders as presets. Let me show you how that's done. Going back into Ecamm here, notice we've got our camera B, which is the preset 1 for the Insta360 link, right? So if I go over here, see, there it is, right? Now, let's say I wanted to use preset 2. Well, I can quickly recall this by simply adding another placeholder camera. Look at this. So now I've got camera H, and I'm going to make this Insta preset 2. And right now, nothing's really changed. You see that preset 1 and preset 2 look the same. However, if I drag this into my window here, look what it does. It automatically shifted over. So now what does that mean exactly? It means you can set up scenes to be exactly what the placeholder is. So again, so now if I wanted to switch, I can just go right here, I go to Insta360, takes me to preset 2. I can either drag and drop like I hit here. Here's preset 1, bloom. Preset 2, bloom. Right? So it's just replacing the camera. Or you can change the little pencil doodad here, and we can say this is camera B, or this is camera H. And if it's camera B, it's here. If it's camera H, it's here. So it's the same camera. It's just a different preset location, but you can have placeholders for every single preset here. Why is this important? Well, it allows you to set up a lot of different scenes with different presets, which is, again, awesome. So I wanted to take you through a real world example of how this would be utilized. And this is through one of the clients that I have. It is a church that's located 60 miles away. Every weekend, I remote in to this church using a application called Splashtop Desktop. And I can control the Mac Studio that's sitting inside the church there. And it is also running a copy of Ecamm, and it's broadcasting out to the internet. It's a live show, but I'm doing it here from my studio an hour's drive away. How do I do that? And more importantly, how does pan, tilt, zoom make it even better with all these preset functionalities? Let me show you. All right, so we're going to go into Splashtop Desktop here. And you can see, so right now it's a live view of what's going on, which is nothing because this is a Thursday afternoon. So there's nothing going on at the church. So I can mess around with the cameras. Nobody's going to freak out. And so I've got my center camera here. I've got my left camera here. I've also got some new features inside of Ecamm 4.4. For instance, I've got live motion view here. I've also got a live motion, so I can change these to be whatever I want to be, and doing this all remotely. Now, up until Ecamm 4.4, I was using another app called Companion, which I've got running here. And Companion allows me to pull up presets for the cameras. For instance, if I wanted to go to the center camera with the podium, I can do that. And it's going to drive me over there. If I wanted to go to the pulpit, I can click that. These are still very valid. And as a matter of fact, I've also got a copy of Companion running locally here in my studio. I have a whole nother video on how to use Companion for this stuff, so I'll link to it down at the bottom. But a lot of this can be eliminated now, again, reducing friction. So I'm going to drop this out and go back to the home setting here. And we'll get rid of the user interface here. So you'll notice in my camera switcher, and I've got the two PTZ controls set up here. One for the left, one for the right. All right, so reducing the friction here inside of the church, I've got the controls here. I've got the pan, tilt, zoom controls set up here. So if I wanted to pan this camera or pan that camera or zoom in, I've got the speed set really slow. And I do this on purpose because I don't want to have jittery camera movements, especially over a distance that is something where if there's any kind of lag for any reason, I want to be able to move things slowly along. Also, most people don't walk faster than I can pan the camera anyway, so I don't really worry about it. Now, I want you to remember something here. There's a Sony, there's a PTZ optics camera inside the church, inside the sanctuary. There are two of them, actually. They're both running the Sony Visca protocol, okay? They are remotely controlled from an hour's drive away here in my studio. That's a big one. And probably more importantly, you have the full functionality of the same thing that you would have as a physical controller, something that's sitting on the desk that you've paid hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for. You've got it right here inside of Ecamm. So think about the savings right there. You don't need a fancy pants controller to get the same capabilities because it's already built in the Ecamm. Think about that. So now I've got these, I can pan, tilt, zoom. Of course, I can pull up my presets. I can click on recall and it'll take me to that preset. Preset 2 is here. Preset 1, for instance, is here. That's usually I order my presets based on the flow of the service. And generally speaking, the church service is the same flow every weekend with some minor exceptions here and there. So I can set preset 1, preset 2, and I just go through my list. And that usually makes the production process, again, reducing friction. Same thing with the left camera. I can do the left camera. Now there's a time, for instance, there is a time where the congregation is, let me see if I can find which preset. Naming presets, by the way, here it is. Naming presets and adding more presets is a feature to come. So you can have 10 presets right now. Eventually, I know that this is on the feature request list, that they will make it possible for you to add more presets and rename the presets down the road. But for now, you just have to remember those. So just print out a little list on your desktop and you'll remember which preset's what. So I've got this preset here. And let's say I wanted to do like preset 8 on the left. Okay. So here I've got two different presets, so which is perfect because now, remember, a new feature in Ecamm 4.4 is the live motion. So there is a time during the service when I want to be able to see members of the congregation who are talking to the pastor. They have a joys and concerns segment of the service. and people get up and they talk about something that happened that was great, or something that they're asking everybody else to pray for, those kinds of things. So I have, in the past, what I've done prior to Ecamm 4.4 is I've just had this screen up, and I will pull up a preset. What I normally would do is I would go between the pastor, who would be at this camera angle. I would adjust left in the background and try and find the person who was talking. Hopefully I would find them before they got finished talking, and then I would switch over to the left camera. Now what I can do is, with live motion and the PTZ capabilities, I can switch over. So now I've got the pastor center screen here. He's always on screen. And now I can use the left camera to move it around like this, right? And if I want to zoom in, I can do that. So let's say I wanted to get a closer reaction shot or something like that. I can do that. So pastor's still standing here on the left side. Person's talking over here. You see the face-to-face interaction, so to speak. And then I can jump between those very, very easily. And if I want to hide rough camera motions, just go back, use center screen like this, and then make my adjustments on the other camera, and then switch back to this. However, one of the things you can do is, let's say, for instance, this preset. Let's go ahead and set our center camera, for instance. Let's go ahead and set this to preset 1. Okay, we're going to recall this. Okay, so here we are at the pulpit, right? And so I've got this scene here, which is the left 2/3, right? But I want this to be my center camera, but I want it to be down where it was before, down at centered. So I'm going to change this to be, well, I can't do that right. Here's how you do it. You create a new placeholder, just like I did before. So we're going to add a placeholder camera, and this is camera C. And camera C is going to be the center camera with preset 5. If you remember, if you want to go back in the video and see where I selected preset 5, that's where it's going to go. So now this is going to be camera C. And look at that. So now it's set to where I wanted it before. Okay, so now I've got the camera exactly where I want it. And let's say this is for this scene and this scene only. This is a cool part about it. You create as many scenes as you want with the different camera presets, and the cameras will jump around. As soon as you switch to that scene with that preset setting, boom, they'll jump. So if I go back to the center camera, just a plain old center camera, which is set to preset 1, look what happens. Just jumps right back. I mean, does it really get any easier than that? I've used the PTZ Optics app. It's fine. No knock on them. This is just way easier when you're in the midst of production. As far as setting up presets, personally, I like using Ecamm now to set up my presets. This is cool. It's cool enough that the fact that I'm controlling the church from 60 miles away, but the fact that I can now pull up my cameras and then go to any scene that I want, like this, this just solves so many problems for me. So combination of live motion with PTZ makes for an entirely different experience for your audience. And ultimately, especially with things like this, I mean, you would hope that people are listening to the service the entire time, but studies have shown time and time again, changing camera angles and just basically altering the view, it keeps people's attention. It keeps them engaged rather than just having a camera fixed on a specific location for an entire sermon, for instance. That's really what I wanted to talk about today. I find the PTZ functionality inside of Ecamm 4.4 phenomenal. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this valuable. If you have any questions or if you have any comments, go ahead and leave them down below. If you like the content, you know what to do. Click that like button for me. And if you really like the content, and there's a lot more to come, hit that subscribe button for me. I'd really appreciate it. Links down below. And I look forward to the next video. Thanks for watching. And probably YouTube will have something over here that you can watch of mine. If not, then just click around my channel. There's plenty of stuff. All right. Thanks. My name's Jeremy Hubble. See you later.